What is going on, y'all? Matt in the hat. John North Ford, Lincoln Nissan here in Emporia. It is Monday. I love Mondays. It is 12 o'clock. It is time for Car Confessions. This is episode number 48, and I'm going to talk about towing capacity. That's really a big topic around here. One of the most popular questions I get in this area, because there's a lot of people that tow either for business, for commercial, construction, agriculture, or that tow for fun as far as campers, toy haulers, whatever the case may be. And I have a lot of people ask, does it really matter what I tow? If my truck can tow it, I can just go on down the road. Yes and no. There's always some legal, some safety concerns that come into play, and towing capacity can be a little misleading, somewhat misunderstanding as well, because there's so many things that take place. So for towing capacity, you've got the GVW, which is the gross vehicle weight. You've got GVWR, which is the gross vehicle weight rating. You've got the GCVWR. Had to think about that one. The GCVWR. This is the gross combined vehicle weight rating. You've got axle ratios. You've got payload. What does all that mean? What does that have to do with how much I hook onto and just go? Well, there's a lot that has to do with it. Right now, I am sitting in a 2018 Ford F250 Lariat. Got the air-conditioned seats going. It's nice. And this is a 6.7. Why am I sitting in this diesel? I actually have to call a customer about this truck later on, and I wanted to sit in it, see how nice it is, and I figured this would be a good place to talk. So you're here, I'm here, let's talk. For the GVW, gross vehicle weight, what does that mean? What is it? This is the current weight of the vehicle with me in it. So this is different from the curb weight. The curb weight would just be the weight of the vehicle. The gross vehicle weight is the weight with me in it, with my phone in it, with whatever I have sitting in it right now. That's a GVW. So what does that mean? Isn't that standard on 3/4 tons? Not necessarily. As I mentioned, this is a diesel. So what that means, a diesel is heavier than a gas truck. A diesel motor weighs about 1,100 pounds, give or take. So that's almost 700 pounds more than a gas motor weighs. This is also a 4-wheel drive truck. That's going to weigh more than a 2-wheel drive truck. This is a standard bed, which is 6 3/4, not a long bed. So it's going to weigh less than what a long bed would be. So it's not standard, and that's why I bring those up and I use those specific examples, because those are the three biggest things that people don't necessarily take into account when they talk about vehicle weight. 4-wheel drive, diesel, length of the bed. Then you have the GVWR, which is the gross vehicle weight rating. This is the max amount of weight the vehicle is rated to carry. You can find that in the driver door on any truck. Here, I'll just show you, because we're on Facebook Live, so I will just show you guys real quick. All right, so you get out of the big ass truck, and you come find your VIN sticker and you look for GVWR. This one is 10,000 pounds. So if you get pulled over, that's one of the numbers that they're going to look for. The other one that we'll talk about later is the payload, which on this one is 2106. So why does that matter? What does that mean? That is the maximum amount of weight that the vehicle is rated to carry. You combine that with the GCVWR, which is, again, is the gross combined vehicle weight rating. I always have to think about that because you're just adding one letter, but it screws me up. I tell y'all know, that's why I'm in sales. This is the maximum amount the truck is rated to carry, including whatever you're towing. So whether you're towing a camper, whether it's a toy hauler, a big ass boat, whatever it is, that is your GCVWR. The other sticker that I just mentioned is the payload. What is the payload? What does that have to do with what's going on, what I'm towing, or what's in the vehicle? Good question. Glad you asked. I'm here for you. The payload is the maximum amount of people, cargo, or load that you can carry in the vehicle before exceeding the GVWR. So when I worked for United Rentals, when I was towing something, if I was going to a job site, if I had to take a piece of equipment to a customer, I had to be careful of the GVWR. And the payload I didn't always have to worry about, but every time on the commercial side you go by a scale, you got to stop, and they check the two numbers, the GVWR and the payload. So the payload is going to be different for somebody like I just mentioned doing construction. You know, you got one or two guys, you've got the gear plus whatever they're towing. That could be less of a payload than if you're going on vacation with your wife, 3 kids in the back seat, and all their stuff, all your stuff in the bed of the truck. It could go either way, heavier, lighter, depending on which way you're going. To find the GCVWR, I do recommend that you go to the manufacturer's website. Going to the manufacturer's website will tell you what that vehicle is going to be rated at, what the payload is going to be if you're not able to find it in the driver door. The other thing I mentioned is axle ratio. This will depend on how much it can tow as well. On this particular truck, it's got a 355 axle. The GVWR on this truck is 10,000 pounds. The payload, as I mentioned, 2106. That is everything that it would be carrying going down the road. So what does any of this have to do with how much I can tow? Again, good question. After you find the numbers in the door, if you have any doubt, any reservation of, after looking at those numbers, what you're towing, I would recommend going to one of the CAT scales. Here in town, there's 3 or 4 that I know of. Hook up your trailer, drive down there as it would be weighted down, drive on there, get your total weight. Once you got your total weight, see if you're going to be over. If you're not, awesome. People want to know just what the truck weighs. Cool. You know what you do? You drive off the scale, you unhook your trailer, drive the truck back on. I know, right? It's that simple. And then if you want to know what the trailer weighs by itself, you could start with that before you unhook and just back up, just drive the truck off, just leave the trailer on there, drive off, look at the trailer weight. That'll give it to you right there. So here's a couple things that I would recommend just from what I've seen and what I've been involved with in the 2.5 years I've been selling cars. Number one, if you already have the truck, you plan on keeping the truck, you don't want to upgrade the truck, you just bought the truck, buy the trailer size, the camper size that your truck is rated for, that it will safely pull. Don't buy something bigger. In this case, bigger is not better. If your truck can't tow it, bigger is not better. And if you don't have the truck, you don't have the trailer, well, it's a little bit easier then, because you can start with the camper or the toy hauler that you're looking at. Chances are, I don't own any of these, but I've talked to some people that do. That's what part of the reason I'm doing this. What they told me, because one of them bought the truck first, the other one bought the trailer first. The one that bought the truck first had to settle for a camper that he could tow. Now the one that bought the trailer first, here's the advice he gave me. If you don't have either, start with the trailer. Why? He said there is a higher chance that you're going to buy and upsell yourself on a camper than if you didn't have the truck. Once you have the camper, he said it's easier to find a truck that'll tow that than if you already have the truck and you have to settle and downsize to get a trailer that is compatible with it. Now, having said all of that, why does any of this matter? I briefly touched on it with the commercial side when I worked for United Rentals, and I would run equipment down I-70 between Topeka and Manhattan, sometimes south as well. If you are commercial or construction, most of the time you've got the logos on the vehicle. Most of the time you have to stop. Occasionally you can get away with it and not stop. But if you stop and you are overweight, you're going to get a ticket. If you're just driving down the road and wife and kids are towing a camper down the road and there's just a random checkpoint and they're going to weigh every single vehicle when they pull off, those two numbers in the door that I mentioned, those are the two numbers they're going to check. They're not going to use Google Alright, sorry guys, had a call. They're not going to use Google, look up the specifics of your truck. They're going to use those two numbers. Based on that, they're going to give you a ticket, or they're going to let you go. There's also safety concerns with it, because if you're overweight on what your truck can tow, your truck can haul, you're going to have stopping issues. You're going to have starting issues, going issues. You are going to have braking issues, whatever you want to call them, stop, go, whatever. You're going to have those issues. So God forbid you get into an accident and because you can't stop, because you are overweight, trailer's too heavy, you can't stop, you run into somebody, God forbid they get seriously hurt or even die. If you're overweight, your insurance company, done with you, because you're driving illegally. Now, most of the time they can't tell whether or not you're doing it, but if they weigh that vehicle and they weigh everything and you're overweight, you got a high chance that they're just gonna wipe their hands clean of you and you're gonna be on your own. So it is a safety issue. It is a safety concern. It can be a high ticket It's not worth it, guys. Whatever you're looking at doing, whether it's, I use this truck as an example for this video because I have a customer on it. All of this applies to half-ton trucks. It doesn't matter whether it's Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, all of this applies. This is all universal. I use this specific truck because I have a customer that I have to call on it, and he has some questions. We'll see about making a road trip to sell it. But all of this, I say all of this to hope you guys get some information from this. I hope this explains what all is involved in towing capacity, why it's important, and what all you need to know going into it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, message me. You can find me, I'm Matt Johnson 1, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not yet on YouTube. I still haven't hit 100 subscribers yet. So for y'all watching this on Facebook, like this, share this out. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Once I get to 100 subscribers, I can change the ID of my station for you guys so it's easier to find me. That's going to wrap up this episode of Car Confessions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all learned something. Please feel free to reach out to me, shoot me a message. If you feel I didn't go into enough detail or didn't explain it, please let me know. I'm happy to explain it and answer any question I can for you guys. You guys take care, carry on, be safe.